so good to us. And start naming the blessing that we're going to get out of here to the year 20 million. It's been so good. Amen. Get ready to our message. Amen. We'll be reading from Psalms 116. That's the Old chapter. Old Testament. Psalm 116. Two verses. I'd like to raise up to just two verses. Psalm 116, 8 through 9. Psalm 116, 8 through 9. By way of reading, I still have pages to turn. Amen. We're going to be on the same page in Psalms 116. We'll lift up two verses this morning, verse 8 through 9. For thou hast delivered my soul from death, my eyes from tears, and my feet from falling. I will walk before the Lord in the land of living. For thou hast delivered my soul from death, my eyes from tears, and my feet from falling. I will walk before the Lord in the land of living. Do you remember playing a game called telephone? When you were in elementary school, the teacher would whisper something in the ear of one student, and that student would pass it on to the next, and the next, until the last one in the room had heard the whisper. The last person would stand and repeat what had been heard. The teacher would then reveal her original statement. It was usually the cause of a lot of laughter because it seldom came out the same. In ancient times, there were no printing presses, no emails, no telephone. With the exception of a few papyrus scrolls of the Book of Moses held by the temple priests, there were no books to preserve and pass along information. Men and women used the tongue as their only source of learning. You said it, I heard it, I passed it on. The problem was that it was often like playing the telephone. There was always the risk that the information they passed on would be transformed, altered, or embellished. This portion of Scripture is actually a quote from an earlier song with some variation. But the singer is not playing the telephone and unconsciously changing the words of this hymn of praise. More likely, he did it deliberately for a purpose. But here is the original. Psalm 56:13 reads, For thou hast delivered my soul from death. Will not thou deliver my feet from falling? Right away, you notice that the writer of our Psalm 116, 8-9 felt that those original words did not say it all. So he put in another clause. Thou hast delivered my soul from death, my eyes from tears, and my feet from falling. It's not enough to keep a man alive and standing on his feet. We need a God who will not only wipe away our tears, but also keep us from shedding them. The writer of our song makes one more noticeable change. In the original, the psalmist says, Thou hast delivered my feet from falling, that I may walk before God. He sees the blessing of what God meant by his divine providence, that man might walk in his presence. But our psalmist takes the walking a step further. He not only recognizes God's purpose and intent for man, but he also determined that he is going to do just that. He says, I will walk before the Lord. There's one more variation to our psalmist song that is important to observe. The original psalmist said that I may walk in the light of the living. Our psalmist uses a word that is a bit more tangible